Hello again. Welcome back. Welcome to a new program, program 639. And this is Marta and I, this is our second attempt. El segundo intento. Because a few minutes ago, the lights went out in this room completely. I was doing program 639 in minute number 11, complete darkness. Complete darkness. Pitch black. Pitch black. Pitch is brea, la brea. La brea es negra. We say negro de brea. Pitch. Pitch como el pitcher del baseball. Pitch black. We opened the door of the studio and it was the same outside. It was dark. The entire building. This studio is located in our company. And the company is located in a building. And the building is, I think, 10 stories. About 10 stories. 10 plantas. The entire building. I didn't check if the entire neighborhood. So this is my second. I lost 11 minutes of my life. And the bad thing about it was an incredible class. I was really, yes, con carrilla, I had a lot of momentum. Momentum. Palabra parece extraído del latín. Momentum, pronunciado en América, momentum. It's a very common word. Momentum, cuando hay ímpetu, impulso ya conseguido. Yes, momentum. You gain momentum. But that's life. That's life. And there's nothing you can do about it. Let's finish vocabulary. Let's finish where we left off yesterday on vocabulary, page 138. But before I start, program 608 and program 616 are available on RTVE a la carta. On your computer, if you have a computer, you go into Google and you write Vaughan RTVE a la carta, and you have 625 programs or more. And you go down, you scroll down where it says episodios, you push there, and then you have all 600. And so you can go back and watch program 608 and 616 if you missed them because of the accidental repetition. The accidental repetition 1 month ago. All right? And besides, it doesn't matter because now I'm teaching at a high level. Maybe in program 25, 26, it was a problem, but now it's not a problem. All right. Vocabulary, page 138. Creo que number 19 o algo así. Asegurarse de, to make sure. Asegúrate de que están comiendo. Make sure they're eating. Asegúrate que todo está bien. Make sure everything is okay. Asegúrate que los lápices estén en su sitio. Make sure the pencils are in the proper place. Make sure es muy proactivo. Se impones tu voluntad, making sure. To be sure es que estés seguro. Estate seguro. Pero eso no es asegurarse. Asegurarse es ir a asegurarse. To make sure. But to be sure. I'm sure. Quiero estar seguro. I want to be sure. Yo quiero estar seguro. Así que asegúrate que todo está bien. O todo esté bien. Make sure everything's okay. Make sure everything's okay. Make sure, okay? Make sure. Resolver to solve. Solve. Solventar. Resolver. Solucionar. To solve. To solve. To solve. También existe el verbo resolve. También se usa resolve. Pero para la solución de problemas o resolución de problemas, we say to solve. Solve. Solucionar. Resolver. To solve. Resolve. Como sustantivo, resolve, con R delante, resolve, significa resolución, seguridad de la persona. Marta has a lot of resolve. Okay. That means no se queda parada ante los retos. Entrar, resolver. She has a lot of resolve. Yes. I need people who have a lot of resolve. But aquí es solucionar, es to solve. Solve the problem. Solve it. Resuélvelo. Solve it. Solve it. Okay? Apretar is to tighten. To tighten, to loosen, to tighten. All right. This is a screwdriver. It looks like a pencil. I know. You're going to say, hey, Richard, that's not a screwdriver. That's a pencil. Anybody can tell. Anybody can tell that this is a pencil. Cualquiera ve que es lápiz. Pero anybody can see is correct. Pero decimos tell. Tell is discernir, percibir, o sea, ver. O sea, anybody can tell that this is a pencil and not a screwdriver. Screwdriver, screw es tornillo, driver es conductor. Conductor de tornillos, destornillador. ¿Por qué decís destornillador? Why? ¿Por qué no decís atornillador? Yeah, really? Come on. it's all right. But in any case, I think it's more common to screw something on than to unscrew it. You understand? Why do you say an unscrewer? Destornillador. Okay, fine. Okay. But in any case, this looks like a pencil, but it's not. It's a screwdriver. No, it's not? Okay, well, fingemos, imaginemos. Hacemos como si. En inglés, el verbo es to pretend. Pretend in English is a false friend. Pretend doesn't mean pretender. ¿Pero qué pretendes entrando aquí así? Eso no es pretend. Pretend. No. Imaginemos que yo soy el presidente del gobierno. Señores y señores, es un placer estar. Okay, I'm pretending. Pretending. All right. The great pretender. Let's pretend that this is a screwdriver, okay? All right. Now, I need this screwdriver because there's a screw here and I need to screw on the screw. And I'm screwing it. I'm turning the screwdriver from left to right. I'm turning the screwdriver clockwise. En el sentido de las manos del reloj. Clockwise. Wise como sabio, esa palabra. Wise, pero no tiene que ver con sabiduría. Clockwise. I'm turning it clockwise because I want to tighten the screw. If I wanted to do the opposite, if I didn't want to tighten the screw, sino aflojarlo. If I didn't want to tighten the screw, sino, ¿cómo se dice sino? But. If I didn't want to tighten the screw, but loosen it, then I would turn the screwdriver counterclockwise in America or anti-clockwise in Great Britain and Ireland, and to loosen the screw. To tighten, to loosen. To tighten, to loosen. To tighten, to loosen. Tighten your tie. Valga la redundancia, aprieta la corbata. To tighten the tie, to loosen the tie. Now, if I tighten the screw too much, then later, when I want to loosen the screw, I can't loosen it. It's impossible. Wow, this screw is very tight. Somebody tightened the screw too much. The screw is too tight. Somebody tightened it. Tightened. Titened. Escrito, tightened it too much. Oil. Let's put some oil. Poco de aceite. It's still too tight. I can't loosen it. It's still too tight. Who tightened this screw? It's still too tight. 3-in-1. El famoso 3-en-1, no? 3-in-1. It's still too tight. Wow. What can I do? Perfect solution. It always works. Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola. And very quickly. No problem. Or I think maybe Pepsi-Cola as well. But I'm not sure. Coca-Cola contains phosphoric acid. In that acid. And you can take it off. So if you can't loosen a screw because it's too tight, try Coca-Cola. Well, try first, probably, It's probably less expensive to try a little bit of oil, okay? Or a little bit of 3-in-1. Yeah. All right, to tighten. Yes, this is a pencil again. All right. All right, to pretend. Inestable, unstable, unstable. My life is unstable. The world is unstable. No, it's not. The world isn't unstable. There's 7.8 billion people on the planet. And every day, almost all of them, 7.77 billion, get up, go to work, or go to school, or begin their daily activities, their household chores, quehaceres domésticos. You know, of the 7.8 billion, almost 8 billion, 7.8 billion people. Okay, let's reduce maybe 300 million babies, little babies. Okay, fine. 7.5 billion. Okay, of the 7.5 billion people who are not babies, little babies, of those 7.5 billion, 7.4 billion 999 million get up every morning, go to work, go to school, or begin their household chores. There are a few accidents, traffic accidents every day. Yes. It's incredibly stable. And the earth turns 24 hours a day and goes around the sun. It's incredibly stable. There's very little that is unstable in this world. Is your life unstable? Well, that's your responsibility to solve, to create a stable life. Stable and unstable. This table is stable. Oh, rima. I'm a poet and didn't know it. Hay una expresión, soy poeta y no lo sabía. I'm a poet and I didn't know it. Okay. I'm a poet and I didn't know it. Eso decimos cuando por accidente decimos algo que rima. Anda. I'm a poet and didn't know it. All right. And this table is stable. This table isn't unstable. The last Sunday, no, the Sunday before last, I had lunch with my daughter and my 2 granddaughters. All right, 3 girls, all right. My daughter's name is Andrea, and my granddaughters' names are Alessia and Sarah. Alessia is 8 years old, and Sarah is 6 years old. Alessia is princesita total, and Alessia is guerrera total. They're totally different. All right. And Sarah is very chapalante, as you say in Spanish. She's very self-confident, very feisty. But at the end of the meal, when we were finishing and getting ready to get up and leave, Sarah tiene 6 años, but she's strong. She's only 6 years old. She leaned on the table too much. And the table went up. The other side of the table went up in her direction, and the plates began to go down. But I and my wife, we pushed it back down. And she was frightened. She's such a warrior that she was frightened. She started crying. But because she was scared. It scared her. She saw the table coming in her direction. And so maybe she learned a lesson. Don't be so rambunctious. Don't be so aggressive at the lunch table. All right, stable, stability, stable. Fíjate que no pongo una E delante. Yes. Mucha gente dice, in Spain. Hay un anuncio en la televisión, algo así. Only in Spain, solo en España, o algo así. Hay un anuncio en la tele. There's a television commercial. It says, only, and a voice at the end in English. In English. The commercial is in Spanish, pero como lo típico ponen alguna frasecita en inglés, mal pronunciada muchas veces. And the voice is, algo así, creo, only in Spain. sea, only in Spain. Oh, pero dice only in Spain. Spain. Para un nativo eso suena solo en una España. Claro, suena a Spain. Solo en una España. Make a strong effort to eradicate that bad habit. It sounds very bad. Spain, I am Spanish. I am Spanish. Eso es yo soy un español. I am Spanish. I am in Spain. Estoy en una España. No. I'm in Spain. I'm Spanish. I'm Spanish. I speak Spanish. Os cuesta. Decís, I speak Spanish. Añadís 2 sílabas más. Yo hablo un español. Yo hablo un español. I speak Spanish. Suena así. I speak Spanish. I speak Spanish. I speak Spanish. All right. Extraño, raro, unusual, poco usual. Unusual, inusual, unusual, unusual. Se usa mucho, ¿eh? Unusual. Esa palabra tal vez mejor para decir raro, extraño. Es unusual. It's unusual. Yeah, siempre poco. It's unusual. Tom Jones. It's not unusual to do bump. I don't know the words to the song. You remember the song, Martin? It's not unusual. It's not unusual. Unusual. No es poco usual. Es curioso. O sea, es usual. But he says, no es poco usual. It's not unusual. It's not unusual. Modo de vivir is way of life. The American way of life. The Spanish way of life. The Chinese way of life. La forma en que vivimos cada uno. It's very different, the American way of life and the Spanish way of life. It's very, very different. It's interesting. 2 Western countries, components of Western civilization, but the way of life is very different. The times the people eat, the times the people go to bed, the number of hours they work, or the hours of the day they occupy for work, what you call jornada partida. It doesn't exist in most countries. But here, still in many companies, work starts at 9, they stop at 2, they start at 4, and they finish at 7. I remember one friend of mine, a young lady, young lady, she was 35, more or less. And she worked in a French company. But she was working in the Spanish subsidiary of the French company. Digo así porque es norte, France is papaya. All right, French company. And she complained because her job was basically working with the French headquarters in Paris, not working with the Spanish customers or suppliers. And so she needed always to work with a certain department in the office in Paris. And she complained. She said, my God, I come back after lunch and start at 4 o'clock and 4 to 7. But my colleagues in Paris go home at 5. And so the last 2 hours, I don't have contact with them. So those last 2 hours are not as productive as the previous hours because my interlocutors are at home. They're not working. And she said, I asked the boss, to change my timetable, to a continuous timetable. And he said, no. It's crazy. All right, but in any case. So, let's do paragraphs. How much time, Marta? How are we doing on time? Yeah, we have a lot of time? Wow, I've spent a lot of time on 6 vocabulary words. Can you believe it? Stable or unstable. Yeah, way of life. Yes, unusual. And things, but it doesn't matter. I'm speaking English, and that's the important thing for your ear. For your ear to get so accustomed to hearing the English language that the language becomes a friend and not an enemy. All right, paragraphs. Paragraph 140. Okay. Are you ready? I really enjoyed the commercials on your Saturday night programming. It's too bad they were interrupted so much by the movie. If I had my way, I'd charge companies double to advertise on TV. The result would be about half the commercials there are now and probably the same amount of revenue. This paragraph is interesting, but it's complicated. And it's a bit out of date. Commercials. A commercial is un anuncio televisivo. Enseguida, here they say, enseguida volvemos después de la publicidad. All right, fine. En México dice, ahorita venimos después de los comerciales. Okay. And so, no, los comerciales, the commercials, okay. The commercials on TV. Now, previously I was talking about way of life between America or the United States and Spain. There are a lot of differences in the way of life. In Spain, the elevators have mirrors. Sois más narcisistas aquí. Yeah, because todos los ascensores tienen espejos aquí. All the elevators or lifts have mirrors. In the States, usually not. It's quite unusual to have mirrors, but sometimes. But here, yes, always. There are mirrors everywhere. Mirror, mirror on the wall. But the commercials on television are different. I prefer Spain. However, in my opinion, it's less effective for the advertiser than in the States. If you watch a television series, any TV series, they break every 7 minutes for 1 minute of commercials. Every 7 minutes. You know, you're watching an exciting television series, but you have to wait, but you only wait 1 minute. Then it starts back. But 7 minutes later, the same, you see. Here, normally you watch 30 minutes of a movie or a TV series and then they stop, and then you have 6 or 7 minutes of commercials. Once I counted, I remember about 15 years ago, Marta, I counted, the number of commercials. Okay, normally in Spain, the commercial spots are 20 seconds, sometimes 10, very quick. In the US, the commercials are 30 seconds usually, sometimes 1 minute, commercials. But here it's very quick, and I counted 67 commercials in one commercial break with about 6 or 7 minutes. I counted 67 commercials. I said, wow, how is that possible? But most people, at least when I'm watching television, when the commercials start, I go to the kitchen, I go to the bathroom, I read something, I check things, but I'm not paying attention to the commercials, you see. So if I have a company and I advertise on television, and they put me in commercial number 33 of 67 commercials, it seems to me that not many people would see my commercial. And 20 seconds on television is expensive. It's expensive, Marta. So I prefer here because I take a 6 or 7 minute break and go to the kitchen and prepare a sandwich or something. All right. And then go back to watch TV. But in the States, it's a pain in the neck because every 7 minutes they break. And if you watch American series on Spanish television, you can see there's a moment it stops and it starts again immediately. That's because originally it was prepared for a station break. Lo que es, la estación de radio, estación de televisión. Se dice la palabra station. En México no se dice emisora de radio, se dice estación de radio. And in some countries in Latin America, they say el radio, no la radio. All right. But in any case. And so the commercials. So here it says, I really enjoyed the commercials on your Saturday night programming. So apparently, this is a letter written to the television station or to the television network. Like Televisión Española or Antena 3 or Telecinco, you write a letter. Realmente disfruté mucho de los anuncios. I really enjoyed the commercials on your Saturday night programming. It's too bad they were interrupted so much by the movie. Too bad. Es la forma más corriente en inglés de decir es una lástima. It's a pity, it's a shame. 5%. It's too bad, 95%. Now, for you, it's probably easier to remember and to reproduce, it's a pity. Es una lástima, es una pena. It's a pity. So I recommend it's a pity. But native people usually don't say it's a pity. 3% of the time, perhaps. It's a shame, 2% of the time. But it's too bad, 95% of the time. Or that's too bad. Ah, qué pena. Oh, that's too bad. That's too bad. You know, I lost 11 minutes of my time because of the lights went out. Oh, that's too bad. Sorry, Richard, but that's life. Así es la vida. That's life. So, I really enjoyed the commercials on your Saturday night programming. But in the next class, I'll tell you why.